What's up everybody? Welcome back to yet another video. I'm Nick here in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Back to talk about dating here. So this is going to be the second part of this topic. And I just wanted to talk about a few things that can help you meeting women here, or guys for that matter, if you're a woman watching this video. But generally speaking, a lot of guys on my channel come here and they want to try and meet somebody, not necessarily to advance in maybe getting married or anything like that, but just to meet people and go out and talk and hang out. So I am currently in a relationship, but I do know a thing or two about how to meet a woman here in Brazil. Now, before I continue with the video, I just want to make it very clear. This is my opinion. This is what I would do. I'm sure a lot of other guys probably do the same thing in order to meet women here in Brazil, specifically Rio. Now, you don't have to go about this way. You can do whatever way you want, obviously, but I just wanted to put that out there. This is just merely to help out and give some hints, actually, as to how to meet women here in Brazil. So the first thing I will talk about is the sites that you can use when you want to meet somebody here. Now, I'm sure you guys know a few of them that already exist. I would say they're all pretty good. The paid ones and the free ones. I don't think that the only difference I think that with the paid ones is it helps you unlock more options, I think, that and maybe advance the conversation more. I believe that's true. I've never used Tinder, so from what I've heard is that Tinder, in order to change your location, you have to pay a fee or you have to sign up or something like that. I'm not too sure. I've never used it, but leave a comment in the comment below if that's true about Tinder, how it works. What I know about Tinder is, as someone was showing me here, is that basically it scans the area in which you're staying, and I think it's a 2-mile radius or whatever. I don't know the exact thing, but you can probably set that as a setting. So the first one I will say, Tinder is a pretty helpful one. I know you can use it free, like I mentioned, unless you want to change your location. So Tinder, to be honest, you're gonna find some strange characters on there. But you will also find some cool people to hang out with, and you'll get a lot of messages, especially since you're from out of town and you're not from this country. You will probably receive a lot of messages, so it can be overwhelming, especially if you're a decent looking guy and you can speak a little bit of Portuguese. It will go a long way for sure using Tinder. Otherwise, you'll have to use the translator, which it takes a little bit more time, but what are you going to do? So Tinder tends to be the go-to from what I hear from a lot of guys. Like I said, I've never used it. I probably would use it in the future if I was to become single or whatnot, but yeah, so that's what I've heard. So that'll be the first, one of the first ways you can meet people here. So the other option you have is a site called Brazil Cupid. I'll put the links all in below so you guys check them out if you've never heard of them. Brazil Cupid is not a free site at all. The only way that you're able to communicate, you can view profiles, but the only way you can communicate is if you purchase a plan, or I don't remember if there's a 2-day plan or a month plan or whatever. I think there's a month plan and it's $25 US or something. So it can be pricey to use. If you're serious about meeting somebody, it might be worth the investment because there's a lot of women that use this website here in Brazil. Obviously, it's going to be pretty costly for them, so you'll notice that not a lot of them will sign up to this service. You'll have to probably be the one to initiate and pay for, I think you can get a 3-day purchase or something like that. I'll put the prices and I'll put the links, like I said earlier, in the description below. So it is a good site. I've used it once a few years back. You can really talk to some nice people. It kind of weeds out the bad apples, I would say, of the choices. I would say I would recommend that one, but I'll get to that at the end. So Brazil Cupid, you can meet quite a few different people from all over the country in Brazil. I think they also have like the Cupid, kind of like the subsidiary of like many different parts of the world. You can like meet Asian women, Filipino, or whatever floats your boat. They have an option for those too. I don't know, never used those ones, but it's pretty straightforward. The Brazil Cupid one, I would recommend that one. So let's move on to the next ones that I want to talk about. Now, another decent website that you can meet people here. I find that it's not used as much. It is used, but it's not used as much by the locals here in Brazil. And that one would be called POF, so plentyoffish.com. You guys have probably heard of that one. It's been around for quite a long time. I've met a few people from that site in the past. You can use it free up to a certain point. I don't remember what the cost benefit would be for that site. I do remember that there is an option to pay, and I think it unlocks more options or whatever. I'm not too sure. I would say there's a lot more weird people on that site. Again, I've only used it for a couple of years, and this was many years ago. But I've noticed that there could be, a few weird characters on that website. It's still okay to use if you don't want to spend a lot of money. You can create an account and then basically search by city or by neighborhood or whatever on the website. So that's another option for you. I don't know too many other options. Maybe like other websites. Maybe the one on Facebook chat. I think you can find people. I've never ever used it. I've never even went on the Facebook one to meet people, locals and stuff. So I really don't have any experience about that one. I can't even say whether it's good or not. The three that I mentioned already, I think that they're pretty good if you want to meet people here, especially if you want to go online and kind of like set a time and date and plan something out. It's good for that, I would say, for saving your time as well. You don't have to like beat around the bush with people, meeting people here in Brazil. So it does have its advantages for sure. Now, the other option about meeting people here, women and specifically, is face-to-face in public. So cold approaching somebody, which means you go up to them and if you find them attractive or whatever, you can simply just try to make a conversation, even if you don't speak Portuguese. Beneficial if you do, but that generally is a way that you can sort of, and you can find out right away if this person likes you. Obviously, when you're face-to-face, you can they'll tell you right away to your face if they're interested or not. You can tell by glances that they give you in public. Those are ways you can also approach a woman if you're reading a vibe, which is most common. You automatically can meet somebody. I would say in public you're probably going to strike out more cold approaching, only because you kind of need a few things to work in your favor. You need a little bit of luck. You need to be presentable, which I'm sure most of you guys are. You need to hope that there'll be some sort of connection right away. Sometimes they might just not be interested. And that brings to my next point. The wonderful thing about Brazilian women is that they will tell you right away in a nice way. I'd say 98% of the time they'll tell you in a nice way that they're not interested, and they'll kind of like put you down gently, unlike North American women or other Western women these days. You won't get the cold shoulder. You could probably converse with somebody, and because Brazilians are generally friendly people, so they'll at least put that in the forefront of the conversation. If they're not interested, you'll know it right away. And that's the best way. Who wants to waste time and play games and all these things? So that, I would say for sure, is the positive about meeting women or whatever in public, because you can you'll know right away. And what better way is that to know? Whereas online, you're just seeing photos of the person. You don't really know how they are in person yet, unless you do a video call upon getting their information. So that there is that risk. There might be somewhat of a connection, video calling or whatnot, but you're not quite sure until you get there in person. So there's positives and negatives of both ways, in my opinion. And I think online, you're risking when you meet up with the person as well. So let's say you set up a date with somebody and you're not sure. It seemed like it was going well. The conversation's good. Texting or messaging, WhatsApp or video calling or whatever. You meet in person, it could just completely die there in person somewhere, because you just don't, the connection physically is not there. It happens. That's life. The other possibility is that the person is kind of crazy a little bit, and that brings me to my further next point. I'm sure a lot of you guys are big guys and you're tough and nothing's really going to faze you or whatnot, especially meeting somebody in person. If you set up a date online, if that's your thing. Now, you still have to be a little bit cautious here. It is Brazil. There is a lot of, as they say, gulps, which is like a trap kind of thing, a scam trap. So you have to be careful of those and be aware. So I would just suggest meeting somewhere in public, meeting somewhere, maybe go to a restaurant where there's quite a few people. The shopping mall is always a go-to place. Just somewhere where you're not going to have to go. For example, I'll give you an example, great example. Do not meet them if they happen to live in the favela or something. Do not go to the favela to meet them. Don't even meet them at the entranceway of the favela. There's a bad vibe about that. I'm just giving you my opinion, advice, how to be safe as well while meeting people. So I've heard stories where they'll meet them in like really sketchy neighborhoods or whatnot. Just avoid that. It's better to be safe than sorry. You can go ahead and do it if you want to, but it's better to meet in some area where it's open, a lot of people, it's relatively safe. It's not the favela, and go from there. If they happen to live in a favela, nothing against that, and it goes well, and you want to get to know where they're from, by all means, check it out. Go with them. Maybe it's going to be safer if you go with them. I still advise against it, but that's just me living here in Rio mentality. So those are some great ways in order to meet people here in Brazil. Just do whatever makes you feel comfortable, the best way that works for you as well. For me, it tends to, you have to play it by ear. Online tends to be the lazy way, kind of. You're just on your phone and boom, boom, and you can get more. The likelihood of you meeting somebody that you're more attracted to or whatever is much higher, obviously, when you're using the app, for example, like Tinder or whatever. You're going to have just so many options flooding you, right? So there's that positive about the online meeting. Whereas cold approaching generally, or meeting people in public, generally happens when you're out and about and you're kind of like not looking for something, but then you're like, okay, this woman I may not see again, and she's damn attractive. So those opportunities, I would say, seize on, because if you see this girl and she's beautiful, especially if she's on the other side of the street or whatever, go for it. And that brings me to my last point about dating here. Take chances. Don't give a damn about, oh, maybe she's not going to be like me. And that's where, being confident comes into play. You have to be confident with these people, with these women here. If you show a sign where you're not very confident and you're kind of like lollygagging or whatever about making a decision, not being direct, they don't like that here. They don't like non-direct guys. So that's one thing that you want to keep in mind. So as I was saying, guys, those are some of my pointers for you to help you out if you want to meet people here. Just go for it. Don't care what other people think. Do you. Have a good time in Brazil, in Rio specifically, and just, go naturally. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please give a like if you found this informative and very helpful in your search to meet a cool Brazilian chick here in Brazil. And if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe. I have videos weekly, and I hope that you'll join me on the next video. Take care, guys. Be well, and until the next video. Ciao.